Hello everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a layout featuring the DSP collection called Take to the Sky. And I'm going to use some of the stamps and dies as well. So this is the DSP and it has lots of masculine colors and images of clouds and airplanes. So the pictures I'm going to scrapbook are from a day trip to Wings Over the Rockies. It's an Air and Space Museum in Denver. And my husband and I, we were kind of doing a staycation last summer. So yeah, we decided to head on over there and check it out. We've been there a couple times before, but it's been a few years, so we thought we'd go over there. So I printed out my pictures and I only took a few. I took one of my husband in front of the backdrop here. I printed out 2 sizes of the museum logo. And then I also printed pictures of the X-Wing fighter. So that was pretty cool. So that's what I have. I'm going to scrapbook it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use these 2 pieces of, it's a light gray with airplanes in the background. So I think that's going to be my base page, and I'm going to work my layout around this. So we'll go ahead and set up some pictures here. I'm going to do a grid on the right page, kind of a grid, and then these 2 on the left page. So just a note, you may see some camera bounce. I was at a retreat last weekend when I did this video, so my setup is not as secure as the one I have at home. So I tend to get a little camera bounce, and the surface here, it's a little tighter as far as filming goes. So, but yeah, I wanted to do some scrapbook layouts at this retreat, and I thought I would film them. So this is the kind of grid style that I'm going to do on the right page. And I'm thinking I want to do some banners strips over on the left page behind this picture. So I'm just picking out a couple of patterned papers. I want to stick with the grays and blues, but we'll pop this one in with some of the airplanes on it. And I'm going to go ahead and start trimming. So I'm going to do 2-inch strips, and we'll just see where we go with these. So we'll just cut 3 2-inch strips. This layout, it's going to be pretty clean and simple, and that's okay. So, okay, so we have some strips here, and we're going to stagger them kind of like this, I think, and then I'll trim them up. And those will lie behind my pictures. I think that'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple inches off each end. And then I'll dovetail them. So I'm keeping the scraps because I'm going to use them. So we'll go ahead and cut a couple inches off. And looking for my pair of scissors. Nothing's exactly within reach when you're at a retreat, right? So, okay, found them, and I'm going to go ahead and dovetail. We'll get started, and I'll do the rest off camera. So just cut vertically in the center, and then take each corner to meet that snip. And then I'll do the other 2. Okay. All right. So we'll lay these down again. Kind of like that. And we'll lay our pictures back down. So I'm going to want to mat my pictures. So I'll take care of that in a bit, but first I want to make a cluster up on the upper right corner. So I'm going to use these scraps that I'd cut off the banners and just strategically trimming images. And I think I'm just going to leave these as rectangles. So just trimming around the cloud and the airplane and just kind of stagger those up there in the right corner. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the right page. So this is going to be the base for my sort of a grid. And then I've made some mats in basic gray. So I have Night of Navy as the base mat. And then I'll mat each of these photos in gray. And now we'll bring in the right page. So I'm noticing that I don't have a whole lot of extra room with that mat on the right page, so that'll change later on. But right now, let's kind of mess with what's happening on the left page. And we'll get those glued down later on. But first, I'm going to have the top of that mat even with the Wings of the Rockies title. But I want to create another little cluster down in the lower right. And again, I'm going to do the same thing, just create some small rectangles. And then off camera, I went to my Cricut and I cut out the Star Wars logo using some silver foil. And I layered it on one of the tags that's part of the Take to the Sky. So this set is Adventurous Sky and it has dies to create airplanes. So off camera, I die cut this airplane. And then I'm going to stamp some clouds that I will have behind the airplane. Okay, so I'll pick out a couple cloud images from this set. And I have some white cardstock and boho blue ink. So I'll stamp those out and they have coordinating dies. So I'll stamp a couple of those and die cut them off camera with the coordinating dies. So I created that airplane using a two-tone cardstock of gray granite. So I used both sides, the light and the dark version, and then layered up all those parts to create the airplane. And then off camera, I cut out the clouds. So we'll figure out how we want them to be. So I want them to be just underneath the airplane, kind of shifting some things around. And I've created off camera, I created the mats for the title and for the photos in gray and Night of Navy. I thought I'd need more clouds. I don't like this one. Nope. We're just going to do the big and the little and save those others for something else. Okay. So now I need a larger mat. So off camera, I cut a new Night of Navy, a larger mat, and I'm going to use this set that's called Love This Moment. And this little stamp, it says say cheese. So I stamped that out and then I cut it using the banner that was from Adventurous Sky. And we'll just tuck that under the picture of my husband. Okay, I've also created some strip journaling for the right side. And I felt like I needed a border. So I've got Night of Navy and some ink. And I'm just going to ink around the edges, just to create a nice border on this lighter cardstock or pattern paper. So go ahead and ink that up, and then I'll do the other page off camera. So my husband, he's a museum guy, and he's into airplanes too. So he's got like a whole flight simulator set up with his computer, and yeah, he really enjoys doing that and flying by computer. So with the simulator. So yeah, we made a day trip of this and checked everything out. So to finish off this layout, I'm going to add these industrial trinkets. And they're part of the Take to the Sky collection. And I'm just going to scatter a whole bunch of those around. And then they get attached using glue dots. So you'll see me finishing up with the glue dots right here. And then we'll call it done. So I will have still pictures of this layout over on my Facebook page, and the URL is at the bottom of the screen. You'll also find still pictures on my Instagram account, and that URL is right here. So give a follow and you can check out some closer looks at this layout. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I'd sure appreciate it. And then you'll be able to find all of my videos. I'll make a list of all the supplies in the description below. Just hit the More button and you'll be able to find all those links. And thanks for watching.